Sorry. Please, all the mentors, please, can you check your chats for the.
So good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Super Alpha team presentation. My name is Timmy. I'm one of the Scrum Masters, and I would pass it on to the ADM, and it will be Oluyinka for the ADM tonight.
All right. Good evening, everybody. My name is Oluyinka, just as she said, one of the ADMs, and I have a presentation. And that's the ADM reports group presentation for Sprint Champion. Reported period is 30th of October to 12th of November. And the project goal is to develop a mentorship website that will enable users to connect with their mentors from various industry and fields. The budget is £57,000. The timeline is 3 months. And the spring goal is website navigation. And the project metrics, as you can see, is on 50% complete, and the average bond that is 0.2, and the product backlog is 2. That's why we have 50%. Next slide, please. And our budget is £357,000. The actual is 204, and the variance is 150. As you can see, we are still within the budget. It's not short beyond the budget. Percentage of attendance for the reporting period, we have 78% of meeting attendees, which is about 5% increase compared to the last sprint. This was achieved because we were able to introduce fun activities to sprint meetings, shared meetings links in advance, and end our meetings on time. However, we have 22% of members not attending the meeting, of which we were able to identify 2 members who are permanently not available, while the others are not consistent. Yeah. So our plan is to hold a meeting with them, with the team members, to ensure we give them the necessary support they require. Next slide, please. Oh, okay. So we have a risk and issue slide. So as you can see, we currently have 3 issues and 1 risk. The issues are devices issues, MS visual downtime, meeting time, staff strength, and the resolution we've taken is to make sure we're meeting are now being time boxed. Teams are encouraged to work collaboratively in ensuring tasks are not left undone. We make sure every task are being ticked. The MS visual downtime escalated to admin to look into it, and hopefully we make sure that things are being done the way it's supposed to. And we sought approval to hire 2 developers. We sort out laptop personally so that we can make us to work effectively. The owner for this particular task are the Scrum Masters and the ADM. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Oluyinka. My name again is Timmy, and I'll be presenting for the Scrum Masters. Thank you. In this particular sprint, for myself, slide please. I did facilitate the sprint planning in this team for the sprint, and particularly introduce games just so we get to know each other, some icebreakers, ensure that all the approved PBIs were committed into the sprint, and ensure that the team capacity reflected adequately and it was updated. This is the team members, the ADM, the SMs, the BA, the QAs, DAs, and our PO, Abimbola Ali. The team have particularly worked really hard this sprint, and we need to put that out there. Next slide, please. And I was talking about, this is the team metrics for this period. In this particular sprint, we committed 4 PBIs that became the sprint work items. Of the 4 of them, 2 of them were completed. The other 2 not fully, in the done state. A lot of work has gone into that. There were some impediments, which the team really worked hard, and it had to do with testing and all, but they will cover that further down the line, the presentation, so I won't bore you with that. That is our velocity and our burn-up, showing how work has progressed over the last two sprints leading to this current third sprint. Thank you. Next slide, please. And for myself, in this particular sprint, like I mentioned earlier, facilitated the sprint planning, ensured that the approved PBIs were all committed into the sprint, and that everyone was clear at the meeting as to it was in the state where it was either dependent and in a state where it was ready to be, committed into the sprint, reviewed the team capacity, promoted collaboration in making sure that all communication within the team, there was transparency and everybody was brought up to date about what's happening, events, scrum events, and ceremonies. And we introduced some, break the ice and games to kind of break down barriers and to get people to be more involved in activities in the sprint. Ensure that our boards were updated at every time to reflect the sprint goals and to see if there are increments that are coming out at the other end of it, including, ensuring that at each given point, there was a visual display of the dashboard to the team just to encourage them again as to how the team is burning down and the work that is getting done, because easily a lot of hours are going into it, but it wasn't really showing, but to let them know work was getting done. I configured the team dashboard again to kind of show the progress and explain the average burn down to everyone. I moderated communication between the POs and DAs and the tester on a particular event when they had to resolve an impediment, making sure that there was clarification as to what exactly the issues were and to ensure that there was a clear understanding of what needed to be done to resolve that. And also on the personal learning side, there were 2 Excel learning sessions on pivot table, graph, pies, V lookups, H lookups. Some of those I have used in my private life and I found them interesting. I also shared best practice with other Scrum Masters on artifacts and understanding and distinguishing them and the terminology, using them rightly. Next slide are the questions, interview questions, and my team members. That's a presentation from Ituan. That's the team attendance, graphically represented for our team in this sprint. That's the same thing on the next slide. Please, if you move to the next slide. And those are what Ituan did this sprint. Our interview question, we had a session on that and we decided to split it amongst ourselves and not just to put the questions together. We actually went over it at the Scrum Masters General Meeting. Next slide, please. There's Omobolanle's slide. She's also an SM and she's listed the stuff she has accomplished in this sprint. The slides are moving slower than I'm talking about, keep going. And then there's also the slide for Joy. And she's an SM on this team and she has put together pictures of the things she has done in this sprint, including some of the Excels. There's also the slide for Jane, that is Omobolanle, a breakdown of what she's done this sprint. And there's also there's Jane. Jane has also included the things he has accomplished in this sprint and is similar to mine. Thank you. I'll pass it to the next person.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Wale Omotosho, the sprint leader for Champion Sprint, and I am presenting for the business analyst. Next slide, please. This is the face of the team who will collaborate together and work, whereby we build a relationship beyond corporate team and we transit into family bond. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. This is our executive summary for this particular sprint. We have our sprint goal, which is website navigation, finding a mentor. And at the course of this sprint, the key activities we have are the elicitation requirement. Sorry, go back. The elicitation requirement, whereby we engage with our PO to give us the requirements needed for the upcoming sprint. And having gotten the requirement, we analyze the requirement within ourselves as a team to know the numbers of story we're going to come up with. And at the end of everything, each story we assign to each of us, which we are currently working on. And at the same time, we engage with all the necessary stakeholders needed for this particular sprint. And we have a refinement session with other teammates to deliberate on which of the stories that need to go into the sprint and the ones that we can keep back. Also, we are training on Excel, whereby we are taught on how to create varieties of charts, for different type of chart like bar chart, pie chart, pie to bar, and every other ones. We also have training on Gherkin syntax, whereby we were taught on the two approach we can use for creating our user stories, the imperative approach and also the declarative approach, in which we as a BA, we adopt to the two approach. Also, we have training on Figma and PowerPoint. The key artifact for this sprint are the product backlog item, our process map, the use case, and our documentation. Sorry, this slide is moving faster than where I am. During the course of this sprint, we have some impediments.
Move fast because of the time, okay?
All right. We have some impediments, which includes the password requirements. The QAs engage with us and let us know that the requirement we gave them concerning our story for the password requirements cannot be met because we gave them for alphanumeric and they make us understand that there should be special character in the password. We engage with our PO and deliberate on it if it's possible. And after a long deliberation, the issues was resolved. These are the screenshots of what we have in this current sprint, our PBIs. Next slide, please. And also we have our process map. Next slide, please. Next slide. This is still the continuation of our PBIs and our wireframes. This is our wireframe for this sprint. This is our process map, joining to find a mentor. Next slide, please. We have our use case documentation, whereby we gave the analysis of the use case, the actors involved, the precondition, and every other necessary description. Next slide, please. This is still the continuation of the documentation. The next slide, please. And here we have the use case diagram. Next slide. Next slide, please. We as a BA, we come together to review the SWOT analysis for MentorSkid upon completion, and we brought out this analysis for the strength, the weakness, the opportunity, and the trend. Please, can you go back to the SWOT analysis? We as a team, we discovered that upon the completion of MentorSkid website, there are certain things that will be happening. Considering the strength, the weaknesses, and the opportunity, we are very conscious to tell the product owner that upon completion, there will be opportunity for global reach for MentorSkid, whereby people and individuals across different countries, we have the opportunity to collaborate with the organization and learn from them in order to have a transition in their tech career. Also, on the threat aspect, we have competition, whereby as a business analyst, we know that to every business, there's a room for competition in which MentorSkid is no exception. But with the strength we analyze here, we believe that MentorSkid can reach their goal. Also, we have a persona which we design with Figma, in the course of this sprint. From there, we move on to the individual slide. Temi analyze what she has accomplished so far in this sprint. Same as Rohit, where he analyzed what he has accomplished so far, added the PBIs, he created and completed, also added the UAT test he run, and met the requirements. Same as Wale. Also, we have Adeola, where she analyzed what she has learned so far, and also created a jargon buster, the business analyst jargon buster, where she clearly states some of the jargon buster we use as a business analyst. We move on to Moyo, who is the brain behind our use case documentation. And also, upon collaboration with Uche, they came up with the process map we have in this particular sprint. Next slide, please. This is the BA general interview questions and answer in details. Next slide, please. These are the interview questions we have. And also the upcoming sprint. This is our goal for the upcoming sprint, finding the mentor continuation and the payment fixture. Thank you for your time. Over to the next person.
Good evening, everyone. Prince DA Champion Sprint. Next slide. So meet the team members. Next slide. So performance analyzer. So performance analyzer allows you to analyze the performance of your Power BI report and dashboard. So this is just a minute video on PowerPoint explaining optimizing performance. Could you please play the video?
Sorry, whoever is
Hello?
sharing, you need to go back and enable the content on PowerPoint. So just escape, then enable, then you'll be able to play.
Sorry, you didn't share the audio.
Sorry, we didn't share the audio. We can't hear you.
Kindly stop sharing, and then you share, and then you add the audio.
We share with the audio. Stop sharing, we share with the audio.
Okay, if it's not playing, let's move on, please.
Just go 9 minutes anyway.
Report view. Report view gives us capability to visualize data however we want it. After we've filtered all the data from our data view and we've done the connections of our model in the model view. This also helps us again to use something called DAX. For example, all the calculations here were done with DAX, and we're able to get the total of sales, percentage of filter by region, optimizing our model efficiency, profit margin. This helps us to build a very efficient report in the report view. Now, the most important bit of this is also the connection between what we are doing and the models. Every single data has to have a connection, or else there won't be a reason. I learned this very much, and I'm able to now connect various models, bring external information from outside, and use that information to sort, to create new measures, create new columns, and also use that model to do lots of things. Now I'm able to merge and join data together with the model, create and visualize data, right? Clean it up, look for errors in it, change, modify, and I call it ETL, that is extract. This is transform, and I'm able to load it for visualization view. Thank you.
Thank you. Next slide. So we also learn how to create a report. So the image below, we can see the donors that represent product and sales. We can also see the slides that filters. We can see the different KPIs representing different performances. Next slide. So we create a report from different queries. Next slide. So we can see from the queries, you can see from the earlier query, you can see accessories, you can see bike, you can see clothing, and you can see components. So based on that, can you go back for me, please? So based on that, you can see the performances of each product or each query at a particular point of time. So we can see that the orange, which represented bike, performed very well as compared to others. Next slide. We could also see how to format and configure visualization, control the look and feel of each visualization. The format option differ depending on the type of visual selected. And we can also see adding visualization to a report. Next slide. So this is Tableau. In Tableau, we learned about joins and relationships. Next slide. So the joins and relationship we created connecting other people and returns. Next slide. So based on that, we created a dashboard indicating the performance of each region, where we can see the names of individual, the manager icon were inserted. We can see the profits and also the sales of each region. We also created a dashboard with a pie chart indicating the performance of each region with each sales manager. Next slide. So SQL, in SQL, we can see SQL, we learned two components, the data definition language and data manipulation language. So this is how we input them. Next slide. So the data definition language, which is did here, we normally create, alter, truncate, and drop. While the data manipulation language, select, insert, update, and delete. Next slide. So we also learn about Excel, pivot table, which summarizes data, VLOOKUP, and HLOOKUP. VLOOKUP look at the values located in column, while HLOOKUP is the same, but formats by rows instead of column. Next slide. Yeah, so creating pivot table, as I said earlier on, pivot table summarizes data. Next slide. For match and index, returns the value in a table based on colors and rows. Next slide. I've already spoken about VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP. So key individual performance and achievement. So this is a terminal achievement. You created SQL. This is rows achievement. And this is Prince's achievement. That's Ezekiel's. Next slide. That's Ariel's. That's Grace's. Daniel's. This is Feyifoluwa's. As Print achievement, we're able to create a report on dashboard for Power BI, identify key insight from report, creating joins and relationship among profits and sales, inserting a regional manager to oversee joins and relations. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Mercy Agetu, and I will be presenting for the QA. Meet the team, and then the sprint overview, individual presentation, and automation demo. Those are the contents. Sprint champion overview. So these are the things that we have done as a team. So we've done the planning, completing of BPI from sprint 2, committed for product backlog item, And then those ones, we were able to manually test them and also automation as well. So using current speed tested were carried out using automation and manual testing techniques. We find out that we raised 4 bugs in the process of testing it. Sprint Champion report. So these are the reports where the chart of our reports. At the beginning of the sprint, we were not able to run a lot of tests as we were setting up the automation environment. But as time goes on, towards the end, we pick up. So it's on the chart and it shows how we move to pick up. Next slide, please. We tested from 0 to this chart representing the way we have tested, like from 0 sprint to sprint 3. And we manually tested and test cases, automation, and the test that was passed, that was failed, and the number of bug identified as well. So, and the carry over the sprint overview. Can you go to the next slide, please? And we have individual slide. Here is Adeja's slide, and what she has done through the sprint 3 as well. Manual testing and automation testing. Here is my work. And then those are the things that I have done. I've done using manually, the PBI, manually tested and automation tested. Here is Adura's work as well, view email. And then most of us has done our work using testing it as manually, also using automation as well. Here is Adebayo's work as well. And then, so despite that some of us has challenges with automation, but at least everyone tried to write one test using automation. This Alex Johnson work as well. So what he has done and the bugs that he has raised, how many tests he's been able to use, tested using automation, and how many tests he was able to test manually as well. Thank you. Without not taking much of our time, we have got a short video to show our work. And please, I'll just hold on now, let the video play. Thank you. Thank you very much. That is all from Super Alpha QA. I will now hand over to the SM now. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that, Mercy. And that brings us to the end of Super Alpha Sprint Champions presentation. And thank you very much for that. Deji, over to you.
Yeah, okay. All right. Thank you for that. You guys are 3 minutes past anyway, but that's good anyway. I know you had some technical issue. That's really, really impressive what you guys have done. Okay, let's move quickly to the Flex team. Yeah. And your time starts now. It starts now. Yeah, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good evening, all. My name is Chioma ADM, and I'm presenting for Team Flex on our Mentorskip project. So this is our Cadillac sprint report, and the purpose of our project was to create an interactive online platform for professionals. Next slide, please. And so starting off will be the ADM report, and my name is Chioma Fadauko, and I'll be presenting tonight. Okay, so these were some of the tasks that we worked on as the whole team. So mainly just really giving you an executive summary. So as I mentioned at the beginning, our goal for this sprint was to develop a profile setting page, including the following features. So personal details, contact details, area of expertise, calendar, and security. And at the start of the sprint, we had 43 story points with 10 user stories. And we were able to sort of carry over 4 stories from our last sprint, and also others were 5 stories for this current sprint. However, one of the PBIs was actually deemed as too large, so that was split by the BAs into 2 PBIs. And it was agreed with the product owner that Remember Me would be also removed from development due to the issues with the capacity, and we can, look at that much later on. Also, Capture was also put on hold as well. And then, so this brought us to our current rating of our overall RAG status as Amber. Due to the delays, we had several delays with bug fixing. It hindered our project from really being tested and progressing to that. However, some of our key achievements is that we've delivered 16 story points, which is from our 4 user stories. So to be carried over to our next sprint, the remaining 6, which have been developed and they're progressing to QA and UAT, and also those who are in QAs that are waiting bug fixes. However, we do expect to get this completed during the next sprint. It does depend on the capacity that we have, and also the capacity of our developers in fixing bugs and working on the bugs that have been sort of raised. In our budget as well, we spent 72% of our budget, which we think is quite a good thing. So up to date, we have spent 201,202. We're going to highlight some risks in this. So we had several delays, like I mentioned at the beginning, and due to those delays, there is definitely a risk that we might not commit and complete all our PBIs. However, and we're flagging this just so that there is an awareness that might be the case. So one of the things that we're thinking about and discussing is at the next sprint planning, which takes place, and based on our current velocity, that we do want to work well with the development team, continue to work with them to fix those bugs, because when we do, then we're more in line to complete it. However, we as ADMs and Scrum Masters, we're seeking clarity and actually requesting and want to request for additional development team resources to help us speed up delivery. On our impediment, as I mentioned previously, we've also had issues with bug fixes. So at the moment, we have 12 open bugs, 2 high and 10 medium ones, and some of them were carried over from the last sprint. So we have tried to liaise with developers, but they've mentioned that some of the capacity has been an issue and continues to be an issue. Another one is our user registration. has also been unresolved due to capacity and resource constraint that we have as well. So both of these items are on the escalation path now for clarity and in find out if we can get additional resources to help us complete this. So in steering and in escalation, we are looking at our next sprint actually, although we have six features that needs to be completed, we are suggesting that we only commit 4 PBIs for our next sprint so that we can manage some of the workload that we have from this current sprint and also for next sprint as well. But as I mentioned, we're also negotiating and working with our Scrum Masters to see if that can be negotiated so that we can ensure that those PBIs are completed for next sprint. So like I mentioned, finally, we have 4 sprints that we are, four epics that we are looking to work on, which is for our next sprint, the mentee profile details, the contact details, booking management, and mentor management. So going on to our next day, these are some of the tasks that we worked with as ADMs. So we followed up with the development team, so that those PBIs remain in focus for fixing, especially those that had bugs. We completed some of our key governance documents, and they are on our wiki at the moment. So our framework, our approach, our budget, and resource tracker. We also ensured that our key project control documents were kept up to date during the sprint. And that includes like our risk and our impediment log, and we collated our sprint C report. Other things worked on were our budget breakdown. And as you can see, there's an overview of the budget. And as I mentioned, the figure at the beginning as well. So sprint 0, sprint 1, sprint 2, and the different sprints you've got. And then you can see our risk log as well here, where it's highlighted. Some of the risks are moderate, some are serious, and some are quite severe, but some of them have discussed. And the same applies to our impediment log as well. So these were some of the tasks that we as ADM worked on. And then we also have our delivery manager question, myself, Kemi, and also Loretta that we had. And now I'll hand you over to our Scrum Master, Kenneth, to present for Scrum Masters. Thank you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Perfect. All right, hello, my name is Kenneth Okiria, and I'll be speaking on behalf of the Scrum Masters. Next, please. In this sprint, we had a few highlights. We delivered 4 increments in Sprint Cadillac. We successfully fixed 5 bugs. We had better team collaboration. We enhanced our DSU attendance tracker. We dismissed 2 inactive and non-communicative members, and we increased team engagement at Scrum ceremonies. From previous sprint, we carried over 4 PBIs. Next slide, please. And then we added another additional 6 PBIs for a total of 10. Next slide, please. So we completed 4 of those PBIs that we committed. We raised 17 bugs in this sprint. 5 of those bugs were fixed. Currently, there is 4 PBIs in QA done. So QA. 3 of them are in progress, and then 1 of them is in QA done. Next slide, please. This is a screenshot of backlog items. Next slide, please. A screenshot of the bugs that were raised. Next slide, please. And these are the ones that were resolved. Next slide, please. This is a breakdown of our backlog items that were, a product backlog items that was committed. Next slide, please. And these are the ones that were completed. Next slide, please. These are the bugs that were raised. Next slide, please. And at the bottom, you can see the bugs that were resolved. Next slide, please. For team capacity, we had a total of 172 hours. 50.75 of those hours were deducted for Scrum events, which left us with a total capacity of 121.25 hours. Next slide, please. This is those capacities from our dev team in a pie chart form. Next slide, please. This right here is our burn down chart. Sorry. You probably noticed at the end of there the amount of PBIs has dropped. That's because I think 2 of the PBIs were deleted from our task board. So that's explains that. Next slide, please. And this is a screenshot of our burn-up chart. Next slide, please. This is a screenshot of our velocity, which we're currently averaging 17 tasks per sprint. Next slide, please. This is a screenshot of our cumulative diagram. It helps us to track all the PBIs on the board and on the swim lane, and we're able to assess where all our PBIs are and how fast they're moving along. Next slide, please. This is our attendance tracker summary. Next slide, please. It's helped us to improve our attendance, and it's also helped us to decrease our non-participating members, and it helped us to also to involve our team members more. And next slide, please. So these are our challenges for Sprint Cadillac. Our most prominent one was the availability of a PO for 1 week. Next slide, please. This is our impediment tracker. Next slide, please. And the next few slides are just the tasks that we completed during the sprint for all of our other Scrum Masters. Some of them were sprint review, some on retrospective. We also had the release notes, and I believe also just keeping running the daily stand-ups in general. Next slide, please. And then the rest of these few slides are just the 10 interview questions that each one of us submitted. I will now hand over to the business analysts. Thank you for listening.
Hello, Edward. Go ahead, please.
Sorry about that. Oh, sorry, but I didn't mute my microphone yet. Good evening. My name is Edward Thompson. I'm the lead BA for this sprint. And can we have the next slide, please? Yeah, this slide is being produced by the Business Analysts Group, and there's a video demo that will be played by one of my colleagues, Jamie.
Okay, so please tell me when you can see my screen.
Yeah, we can see your screen. Yeah, it's running. Yeah, it's moving on progressively.
Can you share the sound? We can't hear it.
Can you hear the shots?
Yeah, the volume is low. You can increase it, please.
You need to stop sharing and then share the sound. Okay.
Sorry. Sorry about that. Let me share the sound.
Okay.
Please share. Mhm.
can we skip that if it's not coming on?
Just quickly, almost through. Just
find the mentor, sign up, login, and you can see it. So I'll just do a sign up so that you can see, because I've already signed up, so maybe should I just go to login. And you can see that I've logged in my name.
You are not sharing again.
I'm sorry, I'm just going to quickly sharing the audio because I think I still have issues with sharing the audio. Share audio. Okay. All right, if we can start. I'll just quickly start all over quickly, sorry.
Features on this platform. I'll just go with the Kickstart. One of the stories we wrote was Kickstart. Now see if it's working. So it's working. And we want to adding on. I think it was.
The audio is not on, Jimmy. We can't hear you. So I'll try to share the one that we included in the slide. Apologies, it does get a bit blurry if you're not able to get the video to work.
Okay, go ahead, Kemi, sorry.
I think, Kemi, your sound is not on either. So let's skip to the next one.
Okay, my apologies on this. I'll quickly continue with what we have done as a BA in the group. Artifacts and completed in sprint. We're able to complete the jargon posters, wireframes for payment and invoicing, wireframes for mentee and profile details, BVI queries, requirement elicitation notes, and the next page, this is the tax that one of my colleagues produced, Yemi, and this is our wireframe, and this is our process map. And these are the user story that we'll be able to in our tax and meet with the PO target on other BA elicitation requirements. He also attended all trainings. And this is the screenshot for our tax that she worked on as for the favorite. Next. And this is my personal Edward Thompson, the booking management job that I did, and this is the acceptance criteria, and this is my framework for that storyboard. And this is the task that I was able to, that British was able to embark on. She was able to do this screenshot as well as part of our user story. Next one, please. And next one, please. Next slide. And this is the collaboration that Jamie was able to put together on his tax work. And this is another screenshot that he did on the Jargon Busters. Next slide. And this is the felicitation notes that she was able to put together. Next one. And this is the user story that she did on profile details. Next one. This is the payment invoicing screenshot that he did. And this is the screenshot for Jamie too on the queries that she raised. And this is his wireframe for the profile and for the detailed editing. And these are the wireframe that he did generally on his storyboard. And this is also the question and answers for Jamie that he presented. And on and on and on. And that is the end of our presentation. My apologies for this delay, and please, we're really sorry about that. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Ed. Next slide. This is a snapshot of our sprint summary, having written test cases for sprint C 64 and 90% manual test cases run, and the automation run. We have 2 automation that was run, and we have the bug status. And if you look down below, you see the bug breakdown. We have 5 bugs fixed and closed. Next slide. And this is the overview of our sprint pie chart showing 64, 53 passed, 8 failed, and 2 not run. Next slide. And this is the task worked on. Next slide, by Esther. And this is her task. Next slide. And this is the okay, this is test cases. It's showing the test cases she has written. Next slide. This is another test cases written by Esther showing the positive, the passed and failed. And this is the task done by Abel. And this is the this one is showing the test cases done by Abel, the ones that have passed and failed. These are the positive and shared steps done by Abel as well. Next slide. This is the negative test case and parameters done by Abel. And this is the pie chart done by Abel showing the test cases 14 and total 14 done 100%, and test cases passed 71%, test cases failed 29%. Next slide. So this also, okay, this is showing the automation script run by Abel. Next slide. And showing the same thing, this showing the hook and the step definition done by Abel. Next slide, please. And this is showing the automation that was run. And when it ran it, it landed on the profile page. And this is reduce tax done. Next slide. And this is the his test cases, the one that had been run, passed. This is the screenshot of reduce automation tests. Next slide. And this is Rose tax. And this is Rose pie chart done with the manual showing 14 test cases done, 100% run and executed, and 100% pass. And this is the Rose showing the test cases that she has done. And this also showing the negative test case and share state beginning. Next slide. And this is also showing share step and parameterization that was done. So this showing the automations that was run by Ruth. Next slide. And this is also showing the hook and feature files done by Ruth. So these are the steps that was carried out. Okay. These are the test cases done by Ed and the ones passed and failed. Next slide. So this showing the pie chart and the test cases run, executed, pass, and fail. Next slide. This is the step to set up the automation from scratch. Next slide. Next slide. So these are the challenges we had during this sprint, showing the challenges we went through, the bug raised that are not being fixed in this time and retested, and the help that we got from our colleagues and the challenges we fixed. And then it shows that we need to prepare more, to be flexible, and to give more time for our automation tests. Next slide. So these are the interview questions and answer. Keep going, interview question and answer by all the QAs. I'll hand over to the data analyst. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kemi, presenting for the DA's Flex team. Just checking, can you hear me?
Yes.
I'll take that, thank you. So this sprint, we've had Excel and SQL added to our learning. For Excel, we've had subtotal, how to calculate subtotal, use of pivot table, how to use information of the pivot table to create charts. We've learned about VLOOKUP functions, the HLOOKUP functions, VLOOKUP to look at information on columns, HLOOKUP information on rows. We've learned about index and matches. For SQL, we've learned more about knowing what SQL is, the main components of SQL, the keynotes or information to notes on SQL, make command settings for SQL, how to use command setting in writing queries, how to sort, how to join. These are the things we've learned in SQL. Next slide, please. For Tableau, we've learned joins, unions, how to use icons, taking icons from Tableau repository to add them to our visuals to create more information. We've learned about use of parameters to add also more information to our visuals. And for Tableau, we've learned how to create more calculated views, which also enhance information which is shown during the visualization. For Power BI, we've learned about model performance, how to use variables to improve on the performance analyzer, how to manipulate and filter context. A lot has been used on DAX to create measures and reports using Power BI. So the next slides will be showing you screenshots of what I've learned this sprint. This is different charts which was created using the pivot table. Next. Conditional formatting, how to check, is used for checking duplicates. By the right is VLOOKUP, how to get a VLOOKUP up on Excel, and how to enter information using VLOOKUP. Next slide. HLOOKUP as well, how to bring it up on Excel, how to input the information you need to generate the needed result on your Excel. And on my right, you've got index and match, also used to create information using Excel. Next slide. For SQL, these are just screenshots to show what I've already mentioned at the start of this presentation. Next slide. With visual representation of command settings. For this one, the select and the from functions are really important, while the others is based on what you want to search using SQL. Next slide. These are the basic search conditions also on SQL. And on the right, you've got like information of a query that was brought up using SQL. Next slide. Same, a screenshot of query brought using SQL. And on my right, you've got some of the joins we've got on SQL, inner join, left join, and all that. Next slide. This is my Tableau screenshots. We've also learned some join types in Tableau. The right is a representation of information which we've joined using sample super store data. Next slide. On my left, you've got two visualizations, and on the right, we've dwelled this information in this graph or in this map. You will see icons which was taken from the Tableau repository. Next slide. So information from Tableau as well. On the left, on my right, you've got how to create parameters. Next slide. And these are the information we've created using Tableau parameter as a function. On the right, you've got index, which is numbering of information which you've got in your visualization, just to create more clarity when presenting. Next slide. This is also a screenshot from what we've done on Tableau. Next slide. Tableau visual representation of information using Superstore dataset. Next slide. And these are different visualization as well using Tableau. And here we've used different, we've created different calculated views to get this visualization running. Next slide. For Power BI, this is just an explanation of what the performance analyzer is, a screenshot of information entering information, bringing up DAX measures using Power BI. Next slide. This is reports that was created using Power BI. Next slide. And representation of tasks which I've got on the Azure board. Next slide. This is Peace, also for Tableau. She's learned about joint, hiding icons, performance model for Power BI, which is same as what I've learned. Can we move on to Peace slide tags, please? Next. This is a screenshot from what Peace has been able to do in Excel. Next slide. Also using pivot table, she's created charts. Next slide. Same visualization using Tableau. Next slide. For this sprint, we've actually collected attendance report on stand-up. So this visualization was created by Peace using information she got from our Scrum Masters based on the attendance on team. I'll talk more about it at the end of this presentation. Next slide, please. Next slide. This is for Teju, same task as what we've done. Can we move on to Teju's task? This is what is done in Excel. The next slide, I think that's joint showing from SQL. Next slide. Yes, this is a visualization as well from Tableau. Next slide. This is Teju's representation of what he has been able to do using data set got from the Scrum Masters on stand-up. Next slide. Same task for Samuel. Can we go to Samuel's task? Yeah. For Excel, this is what Samuel has been able to create. Next slide. Yeah, this is SQL from Samuel showing the different types of joins we have. Next slide. This is Tableau. This is an example of joint on Tableau using different data sets, orders, people, and return. This is a graphical representation using icons as well, which is gotten from Tableau repository. Next slide. These are two different graphs which I get to be dwelled. Next slide. And using the stand-up information, this is Biola's visualization using sample, using the stand-up attendance information which we got from our Scrum Masters. Next slide. This is same. Next slide. And for Tosin, can we move on to, yes, this is for Excel, how to use subtotal. Next slide. The pivot table. Next slide. More on pivot table. Next slide. Creating charts using pivot table. Next slide. Still on Tosin, these are different charts he created using the pivot table. Next slide. Condition formatting. Next slide. Still on Tosin, the VLOOKUP, what is the length? This is SQL search functions. Next slide. HLOOKUP, this relates to Excel, index and match. Next slide. And these are queries that was brought up on SQL for Tosin. Next slide. Tosin's SQL queries that results that came up. Rituals, how to join using Tableau for Tosin. Next slide. Graphical representation of information which has been pulled into Tableau for Tosin. Next slide. Same here, using Tableau repository to get icons, information for Tableau for Tosin. Next slide. Excel, task is done. Chart is created using the pivot table. These are the interview questions for Kemi, for Samuel, for Peace. And before we end this call, I'll quickly share my screen to show what we've been able to do as a team using the data sets which we've got from our Scrum Masters. Can you see my screen, please? I'll take that as a yes. Thank you.
We can.
So we got this data set from our Scrum Masters, which is the attendance for stand-up for throughout the internship so far. We broke it down into reasonable numbers, representing the ones as present, the zeros as absent, another form of absences for the stand-up throughout the 3 sprints we've had so far. And using this information, we've created different data sets. Here we've created a data set for interns, making the intern ID the primary key for this data, and attendance data set using attendance ID for the primary key using this data, and a meeting ID as well. All this information was gotten from here, and using the knowledge we got from pivot table, we brought all the 3 data sets, interns, attendance, meeting together, called it a clean data. And using pivot table, yes, we got average. I come back, we used the information we got from VLOOKUP to create this. So with this information we have, we've moved on to importing them into Tableau. So here we have the 3 data: attendance, interns, and meeting created here. So our first visualization is showing the total interns, the total meetings we've had so far, and the total sprints we've had. The second visualization is showing the gender we've got on team, broken down into male, female. The percentage which is low here are the two unknowns, and I think they dropped. As mentioned by the Scrum Masters earlier, they've now dropped this sprint. These are the interns we've got on team, and by roles, the DAs, the BAs, the Scrum Masters, the ADM. And here it's just joining these two visuals together to create this roles, but it break down into male, female, and gender distribution per team. This is the attendance, rate of attendance meeting as a percentage. The knowledge we've learned this sprint using index to number the charts. The next one is just showing role, rate of attendance, though it's showing as role, but once I open this category that has been built up hierarchy, you can see the names of the Scrum Masters or ADM against each role. And this is showing the attendance rate per meeting per day. And I'll talk a bit more about it using this dashboard. This dashboard has been created using the information from the different visuals I showed you earlier on. So this is dashboard 1, showing just information about the meetings. This is dashboard 2, showing information about the team. I apologize. Showing information about the team, dashboard 1. Dashboard 2, showing information about the meetings. And a story was created. So this is the story we've created using 2 sheets. Flex team, the interns per role, gender per role, interns per role / gender, and then the meeting analysis showing rate of attendance per role, per intern, and daily. Here we've used an interactive filter, which is the sprint. So if I click on whole, you see for the 3 sprints. If I click on Aston Martin, which is our 4th sprint, if I click on Bugatti, which is our 2nd sprint, and our 3rd sprint, which is Cadillac. So looking at this, you can see who has attended most on team for the intern, and the role that has attended the meeting the most throughout the course of the internship. And here as well, we can see that we've had the highest attendance rate to the stand-up, which is the 6th of November. Thank you. I'll hand over to you, Kemi.
Thank you. And that's the end of our sprint report. Thank you.
You can stop sharing, Kemi.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone. That is brilliant. Wow. To be honest, that's how to even start. We can even say that's the end of the internship. To be honest, this is really, really brilliant, everyone. So well done. Well done. So I'm going to ask Pat, Micha, do you want to say anything before?
Yeah, I just wanted to say well done to all the presenters, to all the team members of Super Alpha and Flex. It's just like they've taken it to another level. Like I was expecting an improvement from previous sprints presentation, but this one is just like, I think it looks like now everybody means business. Okay, so it's really, really so amazing to see all of this. Like looking back to the last 2 sprints, I say from the beginning, I mean, who would have thought they would be doing something as amazing as this, you know? Well done, everyone. Well done. And thank you for giving us the opportunity to be able to appreciate you as well. Thank you so much. Well done for doing this.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Okay, let's start from the feedback. ADM, please.
Hi, everyone. Just feedback to Super Alpha. So we'll start with, I'm going to be a little bit firm tonight because I think I expected more from the team and from both teams because there's been a lot been put in, and I think we should be more advanced. But I think overall, I think we're doing well, but there's some areas of improvement, right? So I think when the first presentation, which was Super Alpha, the project goal was very good to start with. You did mention your budget and your spring goal and things, which was really good. But I think we need to move into a reporting format where we need to start putting things into a reporting format, not just on a slide. So we need to have a condensed reporting format where everything should be broken into it, and RAID, your dependencies, your risks, your issues have to be into a reporting format so that then your artifacts should follow. I think what we really lacked in the Alpha team was that the artifacts were not much. I think Femi has really put in a lot of effort to see if you guys could roll out more artifacts, which wasn't as much as I expected. Okay. I think on your budget slide, if someone could go back onto the budget slide for us, it did say you had your variance, your actual spend and your variance. There was no real variance being actual spend showed, but you did have a sum up of a total actual spend. So it's something you guys need to be careful. So if you've got actual spend, you need to show where the actual spend was, on which sprint it was against the variance, so that we can really know. But I think it's something that that needs to be worked on, so that your presentation on your budget, which is your cost plan, should be a bit more detailed. So I think that's something that you need to improve with. In terms of your risks and your red log, I do prefer red logs to be split. So your risk should have its own column, the assumptions, issues, dependencies. If you got no dependencies, just put 0. It was quite difficult for me to read, to see where your dependencies were. And every time you flag an issue as red, you need to have a mitigating plan for it. So I did see that there was resolution but the resolution didn't tell me what was the resolution for, which of the risks that you had created resolution for. So it's something you guys need to be very wary. So every time you raise a risk, you need to make a plan for it, and also give a time where you think that risk is going to be resolved. Okay. In terms of the metrics, on the ADM side, that was good. And then when we go into the Scrum Masters, I think that's the same with the Scrum Masters as well. We just need to start creating reporting, a reporting document that has all those things in it. The Scrum Masters did quite well, where they showed the metrics, and you could also see that your city has improved, which is very good. That tells me that the Scrum Masters are really pushing hard to get those numbers up. And your burn up was up to 75%, which was really good to see. So that tells me that the Scrum Masters are really working hard within that team. It was quite too many words, so I had to read where the Scrum Masters work they did. If you could have put it into a table format and says, this is what we achieved, this is what we've done. You need to remember, you need to sing your wins as loud as you can, and when you're starting. So your wins comes first, and then the things that are not working comes at the bottom. So those are how to do your reporting, okay? In terms of progress, your progress was very clear, detailed. You knew the Scrum Masters knew exactly what they needed. The attendance was quite, the attendance and the task that was being accomplished needed to be shouted out more. So I think it's something you guys need to take on board. And the interview questions. And overall, I think it was really good. But I think for the ADMs, I think the artifacts, you could have created more artifacts for this presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ken, for that. So hopefully you guys have already kind of taken note of those feedback. Thank you so much, Ken. Okay, let's move to the Scrum Masters, please. Scrum Masters. Feedback for the Scrum Masters.
Okay, for the Scrum Masters on the Alpha team, it was quite detailed in terms of your success, your burn-up chart as well, but it was still very wordy, was worded I think we need to move away from writing too many stories. We need to show things that we've done in in hot point, and try and put them into a Tableau form or a tablet kind of presentation. Just show what you've done, your metrics, your numbers, how many tasks were being completed a bit more clearly, and that would actually give you the win. And because I could see from your metrics that the team did very well, but the presentation has not sold out to me to say how well the team did. So if we could move away from writing too much and just presenting the task and putting like a report, because most people wouldn't have time to read too many things. But overall, the presentation was good. The speaker was very fluent, and which was very good to listen to. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ken, for that. So that's brilliant. Okay. All right. So yeah, I think we are doing well with time. Thank you so much for that. So let's move to the BA, please. To the BA. Then after that, the QA, then the DA. Okay. The BA, please. Thank you.
All right. Right. Good evening, guys. First of all, I want to say well done to the BAs on your presentation. I particularly liked the artifacts that the Alpha BAs put together. It was really, really good. However, I would like to say that it would be nice for you to stick to the project, like the work done in the project, rather than telling us about what you learn. It doesn't really add value to the presentation. The stakeholders don't care about what you are learning, and I think Deji has mentioned that over and over again. You have a nice work. You did a nice work on the SWOT analysis. However, for the weaknesses, it would be nice to see a solution that you kind of prefer to the PO. It would be really nice to see. And I like the fact that you created the use case doc and the use case diagram. They are really, really good. For the Flex team, yeah, you guys had nice artifacts. I had a bit of issues with how you put together your acceptance criteria. There were a lot of wordiness. I mean, there were some issues, but it's not really an issue. It's just the way you wrote your then and it was a bit confusing for some of the acceptance criteria that I read through. But yeah, altogether it wasn't bad. It should have been nice to see more artifact from you guys as well. But altogether, well done. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Bolu, for that. That is brilliant. Okay, let's move to the keywords, please. The keywords.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Good evening, everyone. So I'm gonna start with Team Alpha. So do I have to do them one by one, right, or together?
Yeah. Go. Do it. Your show is your show. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm gonna start with Adura. So well done on your automation, Adura.
Okay. All right. I don't know. Yeah, I didn't know that's what you actually meant. Okay. So it's fine because the team presentation today. Okay, you can generalize if that makes it up. But if you want to be specific, that's fine. It's okay. Anyway, yeah.
Okay, I'll just make it quick because I didn't. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the automation was okay, but you didn't have your page object, and I didn't understand what is automation element and scroll pattern, and I think you had a class for it, so I didn't know what you had there. Would have been good to see a screenshot of that. Adigwega, well done as well on your automation, well structured, and please always remove the code that comes in on your step definition on your method, the one that comes with the default. I can see that you commented it out, but it's nice to always delete it. It makes your code beautiful. Yeah, other than that, it was great. It was well structured, yeah, and well done for that. Yanu, well done as well. You had your manual test case.
Your automation was just a screenshot of your feature file, but well done because your folder structure was great. It shows you knew what you were doing, even though you had one screenshot of automation. So yeah, well done on that. And for Adija, your minor test case on Azure and Excel was good as well. You did compatibility testing. Yeah, compatibility testing, which I didn't know how you did that. It would have been good for you to explain that. I don't know if we have time for that yet. Other than that, yeah, maybe when we have a session with the mentor, you could tell us what you did there and how you performed that. And I liked your automation as well. It was well detailed and well structured. You had your screenshot of all your folder structure, which was great for your login. And you had your 5 pictures, which was great as well, though I didn't see any page object and all. And your hooks was created in your utility, I think, yeah. So I think that should have been after your feature file. So please just take note. I think Mercy did very well. You can just look the way Mercy had hers. It was well structured. Folders were well structured, so you can look into that. Yeah. So for Mercy, yeah, I liked your PBI screenshot, well presented. And the only thing is on your manual test case, I think some of you, I don't know what's going on. You don't assign PBIs to yourselves before writing your test cases or so, because most of your PBIs didn't have your names on them. Yeah, so that was the only thing I have for Mercy. But other than that, your automation was great. You had 3 features as well, which is great. So yeah, well done. And then you had your page objects and yeah, which was great. And for Alex, well done. You designed a lot of test cases that were not assigned to you as well. Please make sure of that. Make sure you guys assign your test cases to yourselves. And you had, however, your page object was nice. Your codes were neatly structured. Your text summary was great as well. You guys did very well, and I think the video vindicated you guys. So well done to the Alpha team. And for Team Flex, so I'll quickly start with Esther. So in general, it was a great report. You guys had 66 test cases for the sprint, which was great. Your test cases, however, you guys said you had test cases that passed were 90% and test cases that failed is 12%. I don't know how you guys came about 12%, but then you also said you had 90% was run and then 10% was not run. So how did you get 12% that failed? So yeah, please next time make sure you get your statistics right. And I also like the bug breakdown as well. It has the severity of the types of priority, which is great. Your metric chart was also great. And yeah, coming to Esther, I like the fact that you stated your responsibilities and your roles, your share steps. Please use keywords because you had my shared step. So yeah, so next time, always relate it to the features that you're working on, if that makes sense. And for one of your, which is the same PBI, I think it says, I think this is down to the BAs, but I think sometimes when you say things like that, always point it out to the BAs because it says there that when I'm in the contact section. So that is not, let's try to use the right words you could say. Maybe when I navigate, something like that. So always let the BAs know. You can always take these PBIs back to explain to the business analyst that you don't like the way it has been written, things like that. Then Abel, well-detailed summary of your report as well, covering up PBIs. I was great as well. And your test cases were written, which was great, which includes negative and positive test cases as well. Your regression testing, you said regression tested on all previously tested features. I think you should have been, maybe regression was done after bugs were fixed, just to, see to get what is expected of those features, something like that. Well, yeah. Then your chef steps was done properly. Well done. Great job on your negative testing as well. Great detailed and structured summary report. Like the chart as well. The steps of you creating your automation as well. You had your automation that passed, and you didn't include any screenshot. You only showed the run result for it. It's okay, but next time do have your screenshot of your automation. But yeah, you did very well. So well done. So I'll quickly move to Reju. So good detailed report for the sprint, clear and concise, which includes your roles and responsibility as a tester, screenshot of automation, tax, but it's not for your manual tax. So I think that's what I'm also saying. You did not assign it to yourself. So yeah, so it had someone else's name on it, if you get what I'm trying to say. Then maybe it was a mistake, I don't know. And then your automation screenshot, you had the feature, well done. You separated your features, but no code. Okay, so here you generated your features, but on your step definition, there were no code. So you just had a screenshot of your step definition, or you didn't write any methods on anything on it yet. So, but that was what you presented as your automation. But it's great. It shows that at least you know how to move from your feature to step definition. So, which is great. Let's see more of automation on the next demo. Then for rows, you had great, well detailed and concise summary report for the sprint, and well done for attending all trainings, like you said, on Scrum ceremonies, which was great. And you listed all your roles and responsibility. And your shared step, you had another slide that said shared step, and I don't understand, because you had one of the slides with your shared step and you had everything there, but I don't know, on the next slide, you now said shared step end. So I don't know if it's a continuation, that bit wasn't clear, but yeah. And well done. Your automation was also great. Yeah, you had your negative. It would be nice to see negative testing on the login as well. Oh yeah, well done. You did very well. Ed, well done. Great summary report. Well executed. Steps to installation of Visual Studio. I don't know what happened. I would have loved to see more, but you only have 3 slides. But yeah, well done, because I know you're doing so a lot. And the one thing I want to point out, you said you guys for Flex Team, Ayo Akinyemi, please, if you have any team member that is MIA, do try, because I think it also happened last time. I don't know if it's the same person. When they say no tax submitted, there must have been 1 or 2 tasks that the guy, this QA must have done on the board. So another QA can always cover up for another QA, please. So if he has done like manual testing, somebody can take a screenshot of that, add it to a slide, put it on the slide, and just put the person's name on it, rather than just saying no tax was submitted, except if you didn't do any tax at all during the sprint. So I don't know if that was the situation, but yeah, other than that, let's try to reach out, except maybe the person is in Africa, maybe he's having one issue or the other, but yeah, please always try and reach out. Maybe there's no point putting it here on your slides. If the person is not available, you can always speak to the admin if there's any issues or things like that, rather than putting it on the slide that no tax was submitted and stuff like that. So, but well done to both teams. I think you guys did very well. Yeah. So I think I didn't miss anybody out. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Well done, guys.
Thank you so much, Rita, for that. That is good. So yeah, and also for that detailed one. Pat, you got something to add?
Yes, yeah. Thank you so much, Rita, for doing that. You were so detailed, and also thank you for calling out the teamwork bit of it, so that, because in an agile team, I mean, like you should be watching each other's back. So always try to ensure that every team member, unless they are always absent, they haven't done any task at all. Yeah, always try to make sure that you get their artifacts and put it in there. Yeah, for example, what we've seen tonight. So I wanted to point out something, and I think I've mentioned this over and over again about how we describe um, user stories, the title, okay? So just so that, and I'm saying this wearing the hat of a QA. So I'm looking at Super Alpha's their slides. The user story, find a mentor, and it's specific. They're ensuring that any stakeholder reading this description understands what is being tested, what the focus of our user story is. And I can see that they did that, all right, on each of the story. And any QA instantly picking this up understands what the scope of the testing would cover. Find a mentor, sort using price and select category. Find a mentor, subject and level. You know, even if it's not a QA, any stakeholder would read that. Now, I am looking at Team Flex. I can see payment and invoicing of what? This is an application that has two personas, mentor and mentee. So payment and invoice, it could as well be an epic, because it's not explicit enough. It should be, the title should be that simple that the stakeholder is not even bothered about reading the details. They understand that, oh yes, I'm representing the business, or I'm the product owner. I understand that this area has been covered. But if it's just payment and invoicing of what? Is it for the mentor? Is it for the mentee? You know, because the mentee as well would, it's an application that would involve both mentor and mentee. You somebody making payment, somebody receiving payment. So is this payment and invoicing? You understand? I hope I'm making some sense. I just wanted to call the attention of a BAs to it. Please, I mean, you're all going to finish and move on to, you know, and the best BAs out there, you know, they do a little bit extra, you know, in their work, and it is always seen. If another BA comes in and it does it differently, and it's not as clear and as explicit as they're not seeing the extra, the difference is always there. So please take note of that. And Team Alpha, Super Alpha, I'm going to commend you. I remember that I mentioned something about your slide, your color theme and all that. Well done tonight. Well done, well done. I can see that you took that feedback on board, and I absolutely love your presentation tonight. And data analyst team, wow. I think the highlight for me tonight, okay, first, the video recordings by the QA, and then the second one highlight is from the data analyst team. I think Kemi, she did the last presentation. That was fantastic. I mean, like, it was just artifacts, calling out artifacts, you know, but that was really, really good. Thank you so much for giving us that to Savo tonight. Well done, everyone. Thanks.
Thank you, Pat, for that. Okay. All right. That is really, really good. Let's move on to the feedback. I know Pat already given feedback on the DAs. Okay, let's move to the DA mentor. Okay, feedback for the DAs, please. Yeah, Femi.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Good evening. I'll start with the Super Alpha guys.
All right. Sorry, Femi. While we are doing that, there's a link on the chart. Please ensure that you vote for your team of this particular sprint, if that's okay. Ken, I know you are muted. Have you got something to say quickly?
Yes, I think we've not given feedback for Flex, ADM, and SM yet.
Oh, I thought you were doing both of them. Okay.
No, I just did for Flex.
Oh,
So
all
I
right.
did for Alpha. It's just for
Okay,
Flex
all
to
right,
go
that's
through.
fine. So Femi, can you hold on a minute? So let me go to Ken quickly, if that's okay.
Okay. Right.
All right, sorry about that. Yeah, Ken, please. Yeah.
All right. Just a quick one on the ADM on Flex. You started very well. Your reporting, your governance reporting was fantastic. I think it was detailed. I could see all the callouts. You did flag the project to be amber. I think you did also stay an escalation to say how you're going to make that to change. I think you could change that steering and escalation to path to green. For that was really good. So well done, guys. In terms of the task that you guys worked on was clear. It wasn't clouded too much, which was fantastic to see. Also, your cost planning and your budget was very detailed. It was detailed. I could see per week, per column, per day. So that was good. I think if you like we spoke before, at this stage you should be able to be putting in to setting up your milestones and be able to map out your timelines and also have a project framework. It would have been nice if everybody included that in in tonight's presentation. But overall that was good. So well team. For the SM, it was a good start. I could see the highlight of the sprint, which was clearly stated. User stories, artifacts. I think we need to just be mindful when we're using different colors. You did kind of say we need to identify what those colors are for. I would always suggest us to use a right kind of color, to just use red, green, and the yellow to show progress in terms of the bugs, which has been done, which is in progress, what's been committed. The artifact was well listed as well. User stories. I think there were more artifacts on your side, which was good. But also the couple of callouts was that on one of your on your velocity, it did show that you guys did not do well in terms of your velocity in your last sprint as compared to the previous sprint. So that should have been, there should have been a report to say why that happened in terms of the progress. In terms of the artifacts that were in here, they were really good. And same with the flex as well. So well done, team. Over to you, Femi.
So much, Ken, for that. Yeah, thank you. Okay, all right, let's move to Femi. Femi for the VA, please.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I'll start with the Super Alpha team. I'd like to commend you guys on a good structure of presentation. I think you guys always structure it well. All the shared learning or things everyone learned came in as a group presentation. Then you shared your individual artifact, which was a good one. It saves time and then it saves slides. And if we're printing slides, it saves paper. So you guys did well. And in terms of images, artifacts, some of you guys were still using the sample images from your notes. I believe, like I said the last time, you guys need to actually do the work and share your screenshots, and it proves that you've done the work. And for your own benefit, when you do the work, that's when you learn. If you don't do it, if you don't get your hands dirty, you're not going to learn from it. I believe the last sprint demo, there was an instruction that everyone should try their hands on the attendance from the Scrum Masters. I'm guessing maybe you guys thought because Fini presented something really good last week and you guys didn't have to do it, but that could just have passed for one person's work, and it would have been nice to see people try their hands on that attendance and also use the tools you have learned. You've learned Power BI, you've learned Tableau, you've learned Excel. You would have been able to try your hands on that and do some analysis on that. To your personal artifacts, some of the guys, I only saw one image, which it couldn't have been possible. I think Daniel, Avillo, Ezekiel, there was just one image in your artifacts, so that means you already did one visual. So I think I would expect better better evidence for that in the next sprint. I would like to give a good, pat on the back to Fini for the 4 dashboards. I saw 4 dashboards, which is really good. You must have put in a lot of work. So that's really good that you're actually doing dashboards and getting your hands dirty with the visuals, with the colors. I think you can only get better from there. I'm going to move on to Flex. Again, you guys still use, some of you have been using images, and sometimes it's so easy to tell because it's exactly the same thing. Like I said, you shouldn't be using images from your notebook. You should be actually be doing the work and using your images. Something you created is what you should be having in your slides. Well done to everyone for trying their hands on the attendance data set. And I think maybe from the next sprint, you guys can do more and go further with the analysis and add some more things based on the request of Deji tonight on some of the other things he wants to see. Well done for doing a bit of modeling and making your data a bit segmented and joining them. It shows that you've learned a bit of that during your internship, which is good to see. And to your presentation on the dashboards, well done, Kemi, for a good presentation. It was confident. Some of the things you said, maybe you could have correct. For example, when you show a dashboard is, it shows all your visuals, right? So normally you didn't have to go and show all the visuals individually because your dashboard is a compilation of all your visuals. So you could have just shown us the visuals and then, that would have been that, but you did really good. So well done. In terms of the structure of you guys' presentation, I think you can learn 1 or 2 from the Alpha team. There was no redundant slides. You guys had slides. At the point, Kempi, you will have noticed that I've said it before, it applies to everybody. So you could have just had 1 slide that was for shared learning for everybody and then share everybody's individual images of what they've done. So also formatting, sometimes you guys should pay attention to detail when you format. Colors should not be flying up and down in your headings. So always pay attention to that. So I think overall both teams did well. Well done. They can only get better. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Femi, for that. And thanks everyone for the feedback, all the mentors for your work as well. And for all those, to be honest, it's really impressed that you guys are even paying attention and also giving these guys detailed feedback is really, really good. Thank you so much. To be honest, for me, I think you guys have done a lot of work actually. And when you look back, you know that, wow, this is good. Because one thing is for us to do the teaching, and another thing is for you to go back and do the presentation and as well do the work, because we do the talking. Most especially, I don't even do anything anyway, but you do most of the work, and I want to say well done for that. So, okay, quickly, I'll call on Bolu.
Yeah, I just remembered one thing, that because I gave a correction the last time and I saw that the Alpha team did it again. Please do not put colors on your wireframe. Avoid it as much as possible. Let your wireframe be as black and white as possible. Stop putting colors. I noticed the Alpha team did it, so just try to correct that in the next presentation. Thank you. I just remembered that. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. I've got that in my notes as well. I think there's a place that they use green actually, so which I think is not. I know you corrected last time anyway. So hopefully I'll go through my note now. The one that you guys have not spoken about, I would speak on that. So okay, thank you everyone. So in terms of, I'll start with the Super Alpha. I'll just mention the one that I need to call out, but to be honest, everything is great. So one is the fact that, I know I gave you guys permission to sack 2 members, okay? Please do so, okay? So because if you want to call, if you call a meeting and you're expecting 10 people, let be 10 people. Do you get it now? So I will, technically remove them, and you've done all you could. And this also applies to Flex team as well. If you have done all you could, at the point you need to sack people, right? So I've given you the permission to be able to do so. Okay, please do sack them if you need to. So, and I know also the ADM, you mentioned about the backend issues on your presentation. So I really need to know what exactly are those issues for which the QAs are having. So please speak to the QA lead or speak to Rita, myself. Do you get it now, Pat? So let us know what that is. In terms of the visual issue, right? Yeah, I've spoken to Bolu. Yeah, that would be looked into this particular week. Okay. Adeola, you got your answer.
Yeah, sorry, I already clarified it.
Okay, all right, cool.
Thank you.
Okay, so yeah, okay. I think Ken also mentioned this. Put in my note what in terms of the champions sprint that you guys have. I don't know why you completed less stories. I need to know that. Okay, you need to maybe send an email on your chat in your group. I need to know why. Tag me explaining why you completed less story within the sprint, because even last sprint was okay. Even the first sprint, Amazon sprint, Balsamic sprint was even better than this particular sprint. I need to know why. So because you didn't put that in your sprint, in your report. Okay, all right. So the attendance is good, the reports, individual, the interviews, questions, and everything is good. The maturity, I think I like that. The project maturity matrix is also brilliant as well. So let me just quickly go to another thing. I like the process map for the BA, and I think Bolu also mentioned about the use cases as well, which I think is good, and the diagram as well. SWOT analysis is brilliant. I like the opportunity one, which I think is really, really good, and its threats also is good. I think Bolu already made a comment on that one about the fact that if you got threat, what are you going to do to mitigate that anyway? So in terms of the activity summary, that also is good. And the DAs also, of course, to be honest, DAs are always kind of bringing the A game, which I think is good. So, and one thing I can tell you, most of the DAs, when I hear you saying this wonderful technology, I think that applies to everybody anyway, but I just want to kind of speak onto the DA. I picked a contract with SMBC Bank. I think yes now anyway. So, and it was when I first started with them, it was a bit difficult. I hear this measure, and I was like, what is measure? Do you get it now? It was, even though I was not even a DA, but it's a data warehouse project. So, and as simple as you saying measure, I know what that is. It took me a while to know what's a measure, what's a dimension, actually. So I think it's a good thing. So, and which also motivates me to say for the next internship, we might have to have a combo courses, even though I didn't want to do that because I thought this internship is already intense in itself. But I thought that there would be some experience that even a DA have that you want the QA also to have, or even this the BA to have. So we'll be strategically combining those courses together anyway, like BA with DA, because we know that you can become a business intelligence officer, or DA and a QA, because you know it's you need it as well, and Scrum Master with ADM. So when I hear all this technology from you guys, and I know, oh, this is really, really good, actually. So well done for that. So, and and also for your report. Hey, now I want to tell you guys, so when you guys are presenting, I think Pat mentioned this as well. I thought, okay, it's because I've already written in my report as well. So, the reward of great work is more work, actually. So don't take that as an offense, because one, you guys have done very well. So because you've done very well, you get more work, unfortunately. So, and I can see a lot of videos you are inputting in your presentation, and I thought that At the beginning of this presentation, I asked you to do presentation, you do a presentation in the next 2 sprints. Why can't we just do it in a video, right? So now I'm changing it as well, right? So for those 2 minutes, each one of you will do their videos, okay? Let it be in a video, okay? So 1 minute with what you've done, and then another 1 minute for Artifact. 2 minutes video on what you've done for the last for sprint 0, sprint 1, sprint 2, sprint 3, and sprint 4. 2 minute video, 2 minutes actually. So yeah, so that's what. So what I now want is like you now put that video in a PowerPoint presentation, or if you want to combine it together, that would be brilliant as well. Anyway, so if you want to combine it together and make them one video, but let everyone do their own individual one and submit to you, or that you put it in their PowerPoint presentation and you now click on play, or you just merge them together into one video. That would be fun, because this is really good. What you guys have done is fantastic, and because I'm impressed, that's why I'm actually saying maybe these are other ways of working that we're going to be doing next time. But you guys have actually brought this one. Is well done for that. So, and okay, going to the DAs for that, that is good. And yeah, I like, yeah, now initially I'll tell you many years ago when I was doing SQL, actually, so when they mentioned DDL, DML, and it was a training I went to in Nigeria, I think was, you know, this popular training company in Adeola Odeku, actually. Yeah, I did my OCP then with them. It's in Nigeria, NITT, actually. Yeah, I think I paid 250,000 naira at that particular time. I'm talking about 2002, right? At that particular time, you compare it even with at that point maybe NITT, NIT, thank you, NIT. So yeah, it was 2001. I paid 250, and it was also a scholarship. Actually, they say it was like $500,000, and I did Oracle with them. And when all the DDL, DMS, SQL, we just kind of learn it and learn it like that. To be honest, we didn't have opportunity to kind of practice it as you guys are doing right now. So, and it's only a few of us that kind of then pick that up later, start to improve, to be honest. So I'm really impressed with what you guys are doing, to be honest. I'm actually telling you that, yeah, even in Nigeria at that particular time, people already are paying more than what you are actually paying, because at that point 250, even if you actually say in pound is 250 to a pound, actually at that particular time, yeah, 250,000 would be like, yeah, a 1,000 pound. I think it was even a full of my 1 month salary that I took to them at that particular time. So yeah, so it's really just to encourage you that this is it anyway. So it was, even then, DDL, I was like, what are they talking about? I know the insert, update and delete anyway, but yeah, which one is DDL, which one DML? It took me a while to kind of comprehend. I just want to kind of put that out there. So yeah, so then you guys went into pivot table, and yeah, another thing I also want to say about this Tableau thing, to be honest, another thing based on my experience, I work with European Bank. When I was working there, a friend of mine, even though I was not a data analyst, the guy is one of the principal officer, and he's a Nigerian, and he came to me, was like, oh, I'm actually looking to become a director. The only thing that's preventing me is Tableau. I was like, what are you talking about? What's Tableau? He said, the only person that know in the whole European Bank is this particular director, and they are sending me to do training, and they cannot approve it. And it was like thousands of naira, pound actually, to go for training. And the guy has been lamenting. Maybe one time or the other, I'll bring the guy in, because I spoke to him a few years ago, and I think he's already Tableau right now anyway. And he was telling me he's going to politics to become a councillor or something like that. So, but it was really good that later when I started this program, I spoke to some people that know Tableau. I was like, okay, all right. And to be honest, what you guys have learned is a great thing that people are looking for. I'm telling you. So yeah, even the fact that you know it, actually, it's something, it's really great. Not a lot of people have got that exposure, or to this. I can share that with you, to be honest, for free. Okay, So well done for that. And in terms of the QA, so for me, I'll tell you there are two people that actually stood out for me. One of them, unfortunately, I'm the one that's giving the discount anyway. So, but maybe in the next, I will tell what's going to happen now. So, because I've been giving the discounts, I might be biased, which is fine. So, what's going to happen in the next presentation that we're going to do, I'll give every person that doing the review let's say 10% discount to share out to any of the intern that they feel like they needed it anyway. So, but for today, I will give Alex 5% discount, because from the level of the automation now, I can see you are top. Yeah, I would say in the top chart anyway. So because of that, so like I said, I'm biased because I know maybe that's because what I do anyway. So for the next presentation, the mentors or the guys giving the feedback will be able to give you, and I will give some discounts to some mentors as well that are working with you to say, okay, I want to give my own 5% to this particular person because this person worth it. And Bolu, if you can, and allow me if you can take note of that, so that everyone that's been in a mentor that's mentoring people can actually at least for 5% discount to whoever they think actually worth that anyway. So more often next presentation is the individual. It's easy, right? Because this one is difficult for me to give, right? Because most people are it's collective effort, because even before now I saw some even the people that did presentation were really, really good as well. So well done. So so let's move on to the Flex team. You guys also did very well, starting from the ADM chairman. So it was great as well. I know. So Alex, Ken also mentioned this part as well. There are a lot of, you mentioned some risk, and Alex already pointed out that, you need to kind of, it's not even you need to, because you actually spoke about how you're going to mitigate those risks anyway. So one of them is, okay, you need additional resources. I don't promise any, to be honest. So because we only have a few sprints to the end. Anyway, initially I would say, speak to the development manager, which is Abimbola. But because we are actually, a client called me today, they said, I need this particular project. And because of that, I will be dragging some developers into that project as well. So I don't have resources to give to you, unfortunately. But one thing that we know is with Agile is like, you might not finish all your projects. You just need to let the stakeholder know, right? To say this particular story will not be finished because of this issue, and of course you now need to prioritize your story to say which one is more important, and also prioritize the bug as well to say, okay, can we go live with this particular bug? So this is what this experience that you need to get now. On which story do you need to prioritize? Which one do you need to focus on, so that you'll be able to say, yeah, at least we finished. But it's not that we didn't finish, but we finished, but there's still a bit more. And someone also told me, he said, Deji, this is the contract now. Deji, if you finish everything in this project, are you going to have work to do in the next project? So you have to leave some work to do for the next time. Anyway, that's on a lighter mode anyway. Okay, all right. So moving on. So let's go to the Scrum Master. I like your presentation, to be honest, as in even the summary of the work, how you kind of presented it. That is wonderful, actually. So this, in terms of presentation of work, actually, so your Scrum Master is the one that, you did it for me. I don't know how it's not easy to bring these colors together and also bring this presentation together, to be honest. So that was really, really, really good, actually. So, and even how you kind of, even the box and everything. So that is excellent, actually. So, okay. So, okay. Another thing also, in terms of the velocity, it's, I don't know, maybe because, you guys also didn't finish enough, even you actually finished more work in sprints. What's the name of this sprint now? Sprint 1. What did that call? I think you call it sprint one. What's the Aston Martin, right? Yeah. So in sprint one, even in sprint Bugatti, you did well. Maybe Cadillac is not as fast as other cars anyway. Maybe that's the same thing. So if you are looking into, look at speed cars for the next one. So maybe Cadillac is just fashion. It hasn't got the power or the speed. That's where you guys are kind of lagging behind. So ensure that you for the next sprint, take a fast car, okay, as your sprint. So but well done on that one anyway. So okay, all right, so moving on. Yeah, and also you mentioned release notes. I didn't see any release notes, so I'm going to give some time for you to quickly have a feedback anyway. I didn't see the release note, and also if not only you, I asked for the release notes specifically from last sprint anyway. Not even Super Alpha or even Flex. I actually showed me any release notes. I want to know why. But of course, I want to assume that you've done it. Maybe you didn't present it. Okay, if not. So for the next sprint, I really want to see the release notes. Okay. All right. Thank you. So, and so another thing I think Jamie also, I just want to put that out there quickly as an advice. When you are presenting, okay, ensure that you kind of, what's it called? Shut down any personal things that you have on the laptop. Do you get now? You know what I mean anyway. So that people don't say anything. That applies to everybody, whether it's your Zoom, is your what's it called? WhatsApp, Telegram, please, or emails, or anything that is personal, just make sure that you remove it. So yeah, and we're talking about the wireframes, no colors, please. So for the BA. So, and in terms of the keywords, you told me that only 2 automation tests were done. Yeah, I really need you to improve on that. I know we just started automation, but you can see what the other guys have done. Each one of them actually tried each one automation. So I would say even in terms of automation, I prefer the Super Alpha team have done very well anyway, because each one of them, at least you see one story, even the that they've done. So I want you guys to come together. I know a few of you guys already know how to do it. So bring your people together, try to kind of let them do the automation, and so that you guys can learn together. So, but yeah, you've done very well as well in terms of the manual testing, and if you guys have done the automation as well. I know Rita has already given you feedback, individual feedback on what you've done, so you can kind of look at that feedback. So the DA, that was brilliant. Initially, when you first started, who was the person? I think it was Kemi that was talking. It was like, we learned it. For me, I'm more interested in what you did anyway, but eventually at the end, you kind of spoken about what you did, which I think is really, really brilliant anyway. So, and to be honest, the highlight is the last part anyway. I know Ken said, Femi said you shouldn't go through the preparation of the soup, right? Yeah, but for me, I still like the preparation because it's kind of aroused my appetite to see, okay, what are you doing? What are you bringing? What are you bringing? But if you are presenting it in for stakeholders, I get Femi, you don't need that anyway. But sometimes when you present what you presented, actually show us that okay, a lot of effort has gone in. So you are telling us the preparation of the food, then eventually you serve the food to us, and it was like, bam, yeah. So that was really, really good. And so even that, or on the basis of that, and I thought that because I specifically asked for this and you guys actually did it, right, which I'll say it's good. So everyone in the DA team, I will gladly give you 5% or discount for a job well done. I'm really, really impressed. So, and so for that, so. And one thing I want to say, I think that's where I want to stop anyway. So I know a lot of people deserve discounts. Do you get it now? And I know, sometimes, you think, I know there was a meeting that we are having, I was giving discounts to some people. Someone said, oh, what have me I've been talking about? So you know that I'm also kind of human. Sometimes what you are seeing, I might not see it, something like that. So it's not like I discard you or something like that. So if you feel like that, don't worry. So yeah, so I think I know your daily should have 100% with this on 10% discount. Who's Ayodeji? Ayodeji. Okay. Ayodeji is not a who is Ayodeji? Ayodeji is one of the mentors now, isn't it? All right. So I'll leave that for now anyway. So, but yeah, however, so like I said, humans, I don't see everything. And that's where I'm even empowering the mentors as well to be able to kind of be my eyes in the teams and also be able to do that. So, but one thing I can say, I'm really, really impressed with what you guys have done. And yeah, one thing, even, yeah, it's really, really good, actually, what you've done. I'm impressed. And even if you did not get the discounts or if you get it as well, but I'm going to say well done to all of you guys. You've done very, very well. Okay. All right. I'm going to give 5 minutes quickly because of our time. Any feedback, anything, or any clarification? You got any questions? Okay, quickly. Okay, Bolu.
Yeah, I wanted to say the result of the voting is ready.
Okay, all right. Let's have it. Let's have it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, awesome. All right. So this week, how you guys voted? The QAs for Super Alpha came first. The data analyst for the Flex team came second, and the business analyst, the BAs for Super Alpha team came third. So the team of the week is the Super Alpha team.
Okay.
That was how the vote went.
Well done. So for me, I thought the flex, DA in the flex team will come first anyway. But well done, the QAs.
Congratulations.
Yeah, well done all these three teams.
Wow.
You really, really deserve it anyway. Well done.
Yeah, you do. You do.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So yeah. So Bolu, perhaps some people are still in the kitchen when you are announcing it. Now they are yeah, okay. If you should, maybe you should re-announce so that another
Okay. Yeah,
Wow.
I'm happy to how you guys voted this week. So the QAs for the Super Alpha team came first. The DAs, data analysts for the Flex team came second. And the business analyst for the Super Alpha team came third. And the team of the week is Super Alpha.
Thank you so much. I think last week was Flex that last time
Yeah, it was
Flex.
Flex. Yeah.
Oh,
No,
you guys
last week was the last presentation was also Super Alpha, but sprint 1 it was Flex.
Okay, sprint 1. So we're going to see
Team
now.
of the week, yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. Thank you so much. How many people feel the feedback from?
We have just 17 people so far.
17 people. Okay. So 17 people, I think, yeah, it's fine. So what happens, like, if these 17 people, let me put their name down. If these 17 people feel for the next sprint as well, I will look into actually giving them discounts. Okay. So
Okay.
just help me. Yeah. I mean, yeah, their name is there. So if they feel for the next one as well. So yeah, I think I give you the prerogative to actually, yeah, give them discounts anyway. So that's fine. Okay. All right. Quickly before we'll go, any question? Any question? Okay, all right. I think that's us then. So yeah.
I have a question, sir. Sorry.
Okay.
What does the role of time play in this? So, for example, if you keep to time or you don't keep to time, what penalty or things do you get or not get? Because sometimes, even with our presentation today, we have to make sure it was 5 minutes or max. Do you understand? Because we are really following to time and we can't put so much artifacts and things that will take time. And that's why we have to shorten so many things as a team. Just my own thing, sir.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point anyway. So, but today is not that terrible actually. Even the Super Alpha team only, they only like 4 minutes passed, which I think is still okay. and the flex team, even, yeah, I think you guys also kind of like 4 minutes because you finished like 9 minutes past, but of course you started late anyway. So today, because I checked the time when you guys finished anyway, so it's not that bad anyway, even compared, even with the, considering the fact that there's some technical issues here and there with videos, so it's not. But what you mentioned is still a valid one anyway, so which we're going to consider for next week. So, and if you finish late, Bolu, maybe we should actually remove some of their votes as well for concerning, for every 5 minutes that you finish late, we remove 1 vote. Bolu, look into that. So there should be a penalty, yeah. So yeah, maybe, yeah, which I think it makes sense. So yeah. Bolu, is that okay?
Yes, sir. Yes,
For
it's
every
something like
5 minutes, let's remove 1 vote.
okay.
As a
So that
penalty.
means we need an accurate timekeeper.
Yes, of course, we need accurate timekeeper. So we need to get one next week before we start. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. Ken, please.
I was just going to say the last one, especially for the AGM. I think we should include the assignments as part of their presentation for next presentation, because there's not much of the assignment that's being given was being presented in any of their presentations, maybe the previous and the current one. So it's either they're not doing much, or there might be gaps that we might need to support them. So let's call that out and include all the assignments in the next presentation.
Yeah. Thank you, Ken, for that. Yeah. So AGM, you heard that. This is very, very important for the next presentation that you need to do. You need to incorporate all your tasks that you've been given and assigned. Even though I really don't want to be calling them assignments, because this is not school, I would rather say the tasks that your tutors and your mentors has given to you. You need to bring it, because to be honest, this is a global, a wider audience for you to shine, right? Bring it on and do it. And that's why I like the DAs anyway. Any tasks they are given, and you can see how they are putting it on the slides and tell, yeah, this is what we've done, this is what we've done, this is what we've done. And that's what I want you guys to do as well. Okay. Chioma, thank you so much, Ken, for that, for bringing that on. Chioma, please. Okay. I take it that has already been answered.
No, I was just going to say that with the AGMs, we were just mindful that the other teams have more people in their group. And that's why we reduced what we were presenting, because we're just aware that the DAs have more and the QAs, and we're only 3. That's why we didn't show up a lot of our work this week. So just wanted to.
All right. So this is what I used to tell people, right? So you got 1 minute, right? Let's say you've been given 5 minutes for your AGMs, right? You can have 3 minutes to talk about what you need to talk about. The rest 2 minutes, right? You can just go through the artifact. Even Ken will be looking at it. I will be looking at it. I can say, even if you're not saying anything, right? This is my artifact. This is what I've done. That's what we want to see. Do you get it now? And we'll give feedback on the screenshot of those things that you presented. You don't even need to say anything. Just go through. This is it. 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 And even before you, that's why even for me, I do this as you go along with time anyway, but because I know what I'm looking for. But even the mentors, Olawumi used to send it to them, your presentation to them earlier, which I think would be good, so that they can be able to see it as well before they come in, so that they can know what they're expecting and give you feedback. So that's why we always advise you to send this presentation earlier enough, actually. So if you could send it even before, let's say, even maybe 5 p.m. on Sunday, it will really be good, so that they get it. So it doesn't matter. Like I said, now let me repeat for next presentation, it's going to be individual, and like Ken said, for the AGM, all your tasks, individual tasks, even though if it's a teamwork that they're giving to you, you need to put your own there as well. What you've done per sprint. I don't want what I've learned. I'm looking for what you've done, right? ADM, what have you done from sprint 1 or sprint 0 to now? Individual. You got 2 minutes video to do, right? You can as well use 1 minute to talk about them or 1.5 minutes to talk about them. And you can now use maybe because it's a video, right? You can just be saying bam, bam, bam without having to talk and use your next. Even for 30 seconds, right? You can go through 30 slides because you just next, 30 seconds is gone. So even if you have 30 slides, you can cover them within 2 minutes with 1 minute talking and 30 seconds going through the slides. This applies to everybody. So don't say, oh, I don't want to put this. You have 2 minutes. 2 minutes, use 1.5 minutes, 1.5 minutes to talk, right? Giving report of what you've done and use 30 seconds just to go through all your activity. In fact, I want everything, just put everything inside to get all the artifact, everything that you've done, every word. Like the same thing applies to the keywords, your what's it called? Test plan. Don't put only one. I want to see everything, all the test plans, every part of the test plan, test strategy, every part. The same thing with the BAs, every part of your wireframe, every part of your process map, every part of your everything totally. Yeah, that's what I want. And I know you can do it within 2 minutes video and put it together. Okay. All right. So I think any question? Ken, you still have your hand up. Okay. All right. I think that's what. Any other person? Any other question? Cool. Thank you so much. Once again, thank you so much for this session. For me, I really enjoyed it. Hopefully you did. You also did as well. Thank you. So I will see you guys next week. Okay. And enjoy your spring planning and other ceremonies as well over this course of the sprint. Thank you. See you guys later. Yeah. Bye-bye, everyone. Yeah.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night.